Welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Travis Jones and we're back with season 2. Jace has been here for a couple of episodes, but I'm back. Don't worry, guys. Today is fun-packed with me telling you to get off your ass and get moving. I'm here with Jason Barrett. Jace, how you doing today, mate?
Oh, man, I'm doing fantastic. Little man is sleeping a little bit more and more every day, every night, which is good. But yeah, I'm excited to get back with you. It's a lot nicer chatting to someone than it is just chatting to yourself on these ones, as I'm sure you realized for any of the ones that you had to do without me as well. But yeah, it's good to be back, and I'm very keen to give people the kick up the ass that they need going into summer.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of people press snooze on any type of goals coming into the back end of November. And, you know, you still got time, guys. I think it was 8% of the year left. So like there's still time, 8 or 9%, whatever 12 months is. But we have 8% of the year left. I'm going to go with that. And you don't have to give up. You know, that could be another 5 kilos down. It could be another 7 kilos down. Or it could be like one of my guys who just lost 6.5 kilos in the last 10 days when he first started the program. Guys, there is no reason for you to give up on your 2024 goals right now. And yes, you have things coming up. There's a Christmas party. Maybe there's 2. Hopefully, if you have a partner, you maybe only have 1 partner. So there's 2 Christmas parties to go for. If you have more than 1 partner, maybe you have 3. But mate, if you have more than 2 partners, like that's a hell lot of that's a whole nother problem. And you don't want that. So now you have 2 Christmas parties, maybe. You have maybe a family event as well. Okay. So, you know, you'll see them on Boxing Day or Christmas Day, and yeah, maybe you have New Year's. But at the end of the day, we have kids, guys. You know, for me, I hate getting drunk and waking up the next day because I still have to parent and I still have to do my life. So I'll have a couple of drinks. And if I'm going to have a couple of drinks and I wake up feeling great the next day and I get back into my training, the only thing you could be doing is maybe eating a little bit more food. But with a bit of coaching and also you focusing on your calorie intake, you can also structure your week as far as a calorie cycle, where some days you eat a little bit less to allow for some days you would eat a little bit more. So there is absolutely no excuse for you not to still get results if you plan out the next 5 weeks. And, you might be saying in your head right now, but it's just time to take it easy. It's like, yeah, for sure. I'm sure a lot of people do take it easy right now. But do you want to be average? Like, is that who you are? I don't think you're listening to this podcast going, I want to be average. You're listening to this podcast because you're like, I want to be a fit dad. I'm sick of being a fucking fat dad. So I'm listening to this podcast to change my life. And if you want to go from average to excellent, you stop doing average things. So instead of taking 8% of the year off and going backwards, you're like, you know what? I still got 8% of the year left. I'm going to put my foot on the gas. I'm going to manage my shit the best I can and still get my results, because that's what people do who want results in life. They don't take their foot off the gas. They just manage the obstacles and they keep going forward.
I took my foot off the gas when I had my newborn son, right? And my wife was in hospital for 2 weeks and I was full-time solo dad and trying to manage all of that. That was when I took the foot off the gas a little bit. And then I came back and I have not been able to train. And I told one of my guys this and he was a bit surprised. I've not been able to train for 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Just because I haven't been able to train doesn't mean I haven't waited for it to be perfect, which is probably another excuse a lot of guys come up with, right? Oh, I need it. The timing needs to be perfect. I need to be able to nail everything. Otherwise, you know, there's no point in even starting, right? Like, it's all going to be too hard at the moment. I'm not training. I'm using my walking pad twice a day and running after a toddler and changing nappies, right? That's it. And I'm tracking. And biggest thing, I'm tracking my food. And I'm staying under my calorie goal. That's it. And I'm down probably 2 kilos in the last 2 weeks, right? Which is pretty big for me. I was only 78 kilos. Now I'm 76. It doesn't take much. I changed it. I was just like, cool, I'm going to stop having breakfast and I'm just going to have a bigger lunch of my protein, yogurt, Nutri-Grain and protein powder bowl. Done. It's like super, super simple. You can get results on even the most like minor of changes and the smallest amount of effort, as long as you know where to put that effort, right? There's the 80-20 principle. 80% of the results you get will because of 20% of the shit that you do. It doesn't have to be this big, I've got to fucking do all these things perfectly. No, you've just got to like go, all right, do I want to have good momentum going into the rest of the year? Because you can either be positive by like 6 weeks, because let's be honest, even if you are looking to start something, you're probably not going to start until the first, second week of Jan. If you're a real fucking lazy guy, you're going to be waiting until after Australia Day, right? You're going to be waiting till pretty much the end of January, start of February. And at that point, it's going to start getting colder. You're going to lose motivation. Oh, I'm not even going to go to the beach anymore. Why bother? So you're essentially going to be down about like 2 months, like 2 months or so. If you're extra lazy, you could be 2 months further ahead, because that 2 months is going to come by whether you start or whether you start doing shit or not. That 2 months is going to pass. You can either, as Trav said, rack up the wins in that time, or you can just say, oh, nah, I might as well throw in the towel now. And it's not like you're in term 4 of your last year of primary school as all the tests are done. You can kind of muck around. Like, unfortunately, we left that behind in school, right? We're no longer in that phase of our life where we can just fuck around in the last couple of weeks of the year. You got to take advantage of that shit. You got to either hit the new year with momentum and go, cool, I'm already 5-6 kilos down and I've got it with positive momentum. Or you go, all right, now I've got to get started and I'm already partway through the year and oh shit. Like, you get started and you get momentum. And that's the big key here, is not trying to get things perfect, just trying to get some momentum.
Man, I agree. I think it comes down to just the key thing. Like, what would Fit Dad do and what would Fat Dad do? I'll tell you what Fat Dad would do, 100% make excuses to start down the track. Why? Because it means it's not hard now. It's comfortable now. Fat Dad would make all the excuses and go, no, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. And Fit Dad, and guys, just remember, if you're not Fit Dad yet, you act as if you are Fit Dad and then you become Fit Dad. It's just like you assume the identity and then you become the identity based on the behaviors. Identity creates behaviors and behaviors create identity. So if your behaviors, if you're Fat Dad, you'll become Fat Dad. You take your foot off the gas for 8% of the year, then yeah, for sure. It's the habits we do daily. So yeah, you might not, when we're looking at this, I train probably 6 days a week. But I do something. It's not everything, but it's something. And it's not all the hours of training. It's like, sometimes it's 10 minutes, right? Like in my gym at the moment, right? For my guys, like some of them train 2 days a week and I put into their app, like literally like 10 rounds of 10 squats, 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups. So it's 100 of each. And that was what they do on the off days of training in the gym. And it takes them like 10 to 15 minutes, but they're doing something daily and they're creating a habit of training. Because I think it's like, when you do something, if we do something daily, we'll make it a habit. And we want to try not to ever miss 2 days in a row, because when we miss 2 days in a row, then we're creating another habit, which is the habit of not training. So we want to try and keep it up as best as we can, whether it's 10 minutes of push-ups and squats. Guys, that's still training. One of my guys is, 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off, and he's 4 weeks on, he's on a fucking boat. Right? There's no gym on the boat. And he could very easily just say, oh, I can't train for 4 weeks. I was like, nah, man, we're doing body weight training. Okay. You just got some extra core stability if the fucking seas are rough. Right. So and we do 10 minutes. I was like, just do 10 minutes a day. Right. If you want to do like 20 minutes, go for it. But my standard is 10 minutes a day. That's all you need to do. 10 minutes a day. And like Jay said before, just hone in on your food. Control what we can control. Right? Create a minimum standard of the shit that's overwhelming. Okay, minimum standard here. And then we have, okay, what is and then we dial in everything that we can control, which is, okay, I can dial in my nutrition, right? Okay, I need to hit my calorie deficit. Maybe I'm not getting my steps in as much because I'm on a boat, right? Or maybe just walk around the boat more often. I don't know. But you have to look at what are my constraints and then what can I really focus on? And what am I just holding minimum standards on right now? And I think this overcomes the bullshit excuses we actually do make up, because they're like, oh, I can't get everything perfect, like Jace was saying, so I won't do anything. I was like, bull, that's the worst idea ever, right? That is the worst. I can't do it perfectly, then I won't do it at all, right? Guys, you do nothing perfectly. Everything in life is a constant revision, iteration, constant improvement. Constant and never-ending improvement, probably from the day you were born until the day you die, right? Like you will constantly trying, like I will constantly be trying to become a better communicator to my wife and understand what the hell she says. For the rest of my life, that is me. It's like, what does Liv say, but then what does she mean? I'll constantly be trying to learn that. But
you're never going to get that 100%.
You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. We're stuffed. But I will try my absolute hardest to constantly, and I ask this, me and Liv, every quarter we sit down together and it's like, I ask her and she asks me, it's like, okay, what's one thing I can start doing more in our relationship that will create a positive like engagement with us? And what's one thing you would like me to do less of, right? Whether it's like one thing more, I'd love you to help more about this. And one thing less, I'd love you to stop doing that, right? And it's like we do that back and forth. So each quarter, we try and have constant never-ending improvement, trying to grow together. I try and support her and her needs because you're going to be growing in a relationship and your needs will change over time. Over the last decade with Liv and over a decade, like her needs have changed. But like my needs change. And it's like, for the next quarter, this is where my focus is, right? Maybe it's fitness for you. This is where my focus is. I really like you to do this over the next 12 weeks to support me in this area. And that would make me feel like we're even stronger in communicating as a relationship. So like everything, guys, we're not just talking about fitness, we're talking about your life. Right? We have to be improving. It's like, you don't just go, so coming to the last part of the year, I'm not going to worry about becoming a better partner. There's 8% left. I may as well start again that next year. It's like, dude, that's how you get divorced, right? I'm not going to worry about my finances coming into December. Well, that's only 8% of the year. Well, let's just spend all the money. We'll worry about it in January. Guys, your fitness, your finances, and your health, right? We worry about it 100% of the year, not just 92% of the year. So, not 88% of the year. So like with this, guys, I want you to focus. I want you to go, what can I control? Okay. And I want you to stop with the silly ass excuses that justify your poor ass behavior. Oh, it's only a Christmas party. It only happens once a year. So I just really want to become a jackass for all my colleagues. No, I don't want you to be a jackass for all your colleagues and get drunk. Okay, I don't want you to do that at all. I want you to control your drinking. I want you to go into that Christmas party with like, I'm going to enjoy myself if that's what you want to do, but I'm only going to have like 4 or 5 drinks because alcohol, I don't need alcohol out of fun, right? I'm going to have a couple of drinks. I'm going to enjoy dinner. I'm going to be with my partner if that's what you're doing it with. I'm going to go home tomorrow, and the Fit Dad identity means I wake up tomorrow morning and I go for a run, or I bust out 10 minutes of body weight exercises, or I go hit the gym, or I take my kids to park run. Like that is the Fit Dad mentality. And it doesn't mean you have to do everything. It just means you have to do something. And I want you to do something where you're focusing on that Fit Dad identity daily because that's what you need to be doing.
Like we've said time and time again, you need to be racking up those little wins, those little momentums to move you in the right direction to help you move forward. Because ultimately, the excuses that we bring up, especially around this time of year, are just that. They're just excuses. They're reasons not to get started. They're, well, what if I get started and I don't get the results I want in the time that I want? Or what if I fall off the wagon and then I find it hard to get on, right? Because a lot of guys think that because they've gone off the plan once or twice, it means that they've failed. It means that, all right, I'm not good enough because I started the program and then I couldn't keep it together for the work Christmas party. And then I ate KFC the next day and now, basically I'm a failure, right? And there's 2 reasons why we're motivated. We're motivated towards good things and we're motivated away from bad things, right? We're motivated to chase pleasure and we're motivated to get away from pain. And for a lot of people, their motivation is, I don't want to feel pain, so I'm just not going to start at all, right? I'm not going to get into a relationship because they're just going to leave me, right? It's that sort of mentality. I'm not going to get started on my health and fitness because what if I fuck it up and what if I fail and then I think I'm a failure and then everyone calls me fatso and then all this stuff, right? It's not about like trying to get away from the failure. It's going, no, who do I want to be? And then it's not giving yourself the short-term focus of, but the next couple of weeks are going to be hard. Good. If you can start in this next couple of weeks and if you can like keep a 70%, 80% hit rate, I don't fucking care, right? As long as it's above 50%, you're still probably going to move forward. But if you can keep a decent enough hit rate of momentum going through in terms of successful days, whether we've talked about this before, whether you tick 3 boxes, you track your food and hit your protein, you do some steps, you do a workout, if you can nail those 3, right, for more than 60, 70% of days over the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to be moving forward, right? And you're going to be starting to win and starting to get some momentum. which is what we want. You're going to be starting to rack up those little things. And that means you're going into the new year feeling better about yourself. You're going to be a lot more positive about the way that you're going, rather than if you do just absolutely nothing at all. And you've built the resilience to come back from the little setbacks. Because if you can start now and nail your plan, or even keep a good momentum on a plan during this time, the rest of the year is going to be a fucking breeze. Like, by comparison, people who start when it's easy, they don't know what it's like when you hit the hard times. It's like, oh my God, this is so hard. I've got 3 social events over the course of 3 weeks. Fuck, every weekend's thrown out. And my perfect, meticulous meal planning that I've been able to do because all the kids were behaving and there was no issues and no one had any school sports. All of a sudden, 3 weeks later, everyone's got activities on and there's parties and there's weddings and there's, and then your wife gets sick and then you go down. It's like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this, and now I don't know what to do, right? It's like you haven't stress tested your plan yet. And this is the ultimate ability to stress test, is by starting now. The guys of mine that have gotten the best results have been the ones that have started even though, oh, I've got a little bit of a holiday coming up, or I've got a couple of work trips coming up. I'm like, cool. If you've got work trips coming up now, you've probably got work trips coming up later, right? They're not usually a once-off thing. You're doing a lot of travel. We can't just expect that all of these can be write-offs, right? Some of these they're not gonna be tax deductible. We're gonna have to do some shit with them. So we might as well get started by doing them right and knowing how to do them right, so you don't blow out every single time you go away, because this is going to be a consistent thing. We don't need to have that perfect time. We just need to have that time where we actually stress test our plan and go, cool, if I can get some kind of a semblance of results and plan together during this time, imagine what I can do when it gets less hectic. Imagine the results you can get when you've got smooth sailing, right? But you have to earn that smooth sailing by going through the rougher seas.
Man, I think you always have to remember that you have a family, you have kids, and you have a job, and you're trying to somewhat be successful in your life, right? Life is always going to be chaos. Like, I don't want to start now because it's like December. I'll start New Year. But then you're like, oh, but work is really busy in January. I'll start in February. Oh, the kids just started football. It's February. I'll start in March. Oh, my wife has just got sick, or we just had another kid. I'll start in April. Oh, it's Easter. Like, I've got to eat some chocolate with the bunny. I'll start, guys, you can find excuses to put shit off for the rest of your life. And that's what a lot of people do. They're constantly looking for the reason why they can't do something. And then you can just be the type of person that's like, when you find it hard and you still commit and do it anyway, there is so much more of a dopamine. And when I say that, a feel good kick. And there's so much of more of an identity builder when you do the hard thing and then you actually follow through. And at the end of the workout, I just think about, right, for me anyway, when I go, I really can't be bothered training today, and then I train, and after that training, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I did what I didn't want to do, but I did what I said I was going to do. And that's the main thing. And that builds my identity as a fit dad, because like, it's not when you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway, that builds the fit dad identity, right? It's like, it's easy to do a workout when you want to work out, right? And after that, you might go, yeah, okay, that was a good workout. I feel okay. But it's when you don't want to and you still do it, you're like, yeah, man, fuck yeah. Like, I feel good. And I'm building momentum. It's like when you go to this party and you're like, you know what, I'm only going to have 2 drinks. You get home, you only had 2 drinks. It's like, and people were offering it to you and you had the conviction that you're like, no, like I'm having 2 drinks, or no, I'm not eating the 17 appetizers. And no, like I don't want 17 pieces of cake, or whatever the hell is your vice, right? I don't know. Some people have food, alcohol, whatever it is, right? And you said no, you had the ability to stick to your plan. Like, that is the identity builder. So it's actually the best time to start. December is the best time because you're going to have obstacles. And by overcoming those obstacles, you are cementing your identity in the tougher times. So it's smoother sailing in the easier times if you ever find them. But as a dad, you let me know when it's not chaotic and like give me that roadmap. But my life is always somewhat chaotic between coaching kids soccer, running the businesses, making sure I be the best possible partner for my wife and fitting in my training and trying to sleep, right? But like my life is chaos from where to go, and maybe it won't be when I'm like dead. But I think it will probably be chaotic until like I'm 90. But that's me. That's okay. But I try and fit as much in my life as I can, right, Jay? So it's the same as you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I don't want to miss out on life right now, and I'm willing to sacrifice, as you said, those other little things to have a full life, to have everything going. Like, because otherwise, I remember, I always talk to Loz about this. I'm like, what did we do before kids? Like, how did we feel busy or stressed before kids? I was like, well, part of it was, all right, we built a house and we were planning a wedding at the same time. Okay, that was a little bit stressful, but even so, it was just like, I don't know why we felt like so rushed and stuff, but it's like, there's a great quote I love. It's like, we're here now to be our kids' memories. Like, that's our goal. That's what we're here for now. We're here to create and to be our kids. We're going to be our kids' memories when they grow older. And I was listening to a podcast about this. They're going to live. Hopefully, they're going to live most of their lives, majority of their lives, without us. Right. And that's just the way that it's going to be. Like, as medicine gets better, they're going to live longer. They're going to live most of their lives without us. So we want to be the best memories for them that we can be. And that means I'm not sacrificing time with them to do stupid shit right now. Right. Like, I'm not going to lock myself away or from them and try and sort of, dial in and hustle and do all this kind of stuff when I could be spending time with them and doing that stuff with them. And yeah, that means maybe I sacrifice a little bit of sleep. Maybe that means I have to, do things a little bit later than I'd like to after they've gone to bed. Those are the sacrifices that you make, just like you make sacrifices to live longer and have a better quality of life. Because as like people say time and time again, it's like, yes, time with your kids is important, but it's that quality present time. You give them 3 hours of your half attention scrolling on your phone and it'll feel like you've given them nothing. You give them an hour of really focused, solid time, but you don't get that time without energy. Right. And you don't get that energy unless you start to take care of yourself a little bit more, which is a big reason, obviously, why we do what we do, to teach dads that if you can take care of yourself, if you can drop this weight, if you can prioritize the things that are important over, I'm just going to take a little bit more time on the couch. No, you could invest that 20 minutes and it'll pay dividends in your life in weeks and months to come. Right. In terms of your energy, in terms of you not having, like one of my guys I posted on our Instagram the other day, got rid of his lower back pain. Right. Nothing magic. Didn't do surgery. Just lost the fucking front weight that was causing him to put load on it, and he got stronger and he built up his muscles around his lower back, around his legs, around his hips, so that shit stopped being a problem. And guess what? When you don't have a lower back problem, like I have been able to rehab my lower back quite well, to the point where I've been doing like all of the put downs with my daughter, and I've just been doing like these Jefferson curls, like full on lower back rounding, putting her into her cot, taking her out of her cot. Never once have I been afraid, oh no, I'm going to tweak my back, because I've built up the musculature around it so that I can be present with her, so I can get down on the ground, so I can throw her around and not worry about like, oh fuck, am I going to, break something by doing that? I carry both the kids and not be, panicked. These are the little things that actually matter, right? And they only kind of come about because you focus on your physical ability and your physical energy to be the most present and the most energetic dad that you can be, which is like going a bit off the script a little bit here, but it's like, that's what matters, right? And how do you create that energy?
Man, I completely agree. And I think we have to remember the biggest reason why we do this, right? Yeah, we want to lose weight, and that's what we've been talking about at the start. And, but we want to be there for our kids. And remember, like, your kids for the rest of their life, they've got values that they're putting in place right now whilst they're under your care that they will carry on, or they have to try and break the cycle themselves, right? Remember, there's generational wealth and there's generational health. Like, when we talk about generational health, like, are you implementing bad values and habits based on what they're doing and what you're doing right now? Because they're learning, okay, when I get stressed, I'm supposed to be drinking alcohol. And you're not saying that, but remember, kids learn what we do, not what we say. So if that's how you deal with stress, that's what they do. Like if it's busy, then we just have takeout, and that's what they do, right? And then they let's all have pizzas and let's all overeat. We've got to eat, overeat desserts every single night, or we have a lack of activity. On the weekends, we just lay on the couch. Then they'll lay on the couch. If on the weekends you get out there, you do park run, or you do workouts, or you do something with your kids and you play sport, and like you're out there moving, like that's what they're going to learn. And they'll model you as a parent themselves. But if your kids are a little bit overweight, right, that is a reflection of you and not on them. They don't buy their own food. Right, they don't. Okay, I don't think they do anyway. Maybe you I don't know. But my kids don't buy their own food. They're 10 and 7. But I wish they did sometimes, but they don't. But when we're looking at this, so if they're overeating the bad stuff, it's because we're giving it to them. If they're not moving enough, it's because we're not promoting movement. They don't get in the car and then like we take them. We're doing park run. Oh, I don't want to do park run today, Dad. I was like, dude, that's what we do on Saturdays as a family. And like, you know, you always feel good afterwards. All right, let's go, Dad. And then we run together. Oh, that was the best ever. I love doing park run. I know you would because motion equals emotion. And once you're running and you feel good, then you got endorphins. And I know you're going to feel good. And they start to crave exercise. Oh, Dad, can we go to the gym with you on every Sunday and can we train together? Of course. Why? Because they love being a part of the stuff that I love. Right? And then we get to do it together. And kids spell love like time, Time, right? You're spending quality time with them. And not only spend quality time with them, you're getting to spend quality time with them implementing great habits, right? So you might not be the fittest dad at the moment, but you're on your journey. But also, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, you can still share that journey with your kids. Get out there and go for a run. Get out there and do a workout. Get out there and eat healthy. Get out and meal prep together. Oh, let's eat some protein. It's like, I don't like to weigh my food because it puts a bad experience towards kids about what food is and what food isn't. It's like, have you ever followed a fucking recipe to make a cake before? Like, I'm pretty sure you follow, you weigh food to make a good cake. Jace, I don't make cakes. Do you follow a recipe to make a cake?
Baking is like the like a normal recipe. Yeah, you can just chuck a fucking glug of this, a glug of that. If you're baking a cake and you fuck up that ratio, you're done, right? So yes, you 100%.
So do you think that creates a bad connotation towards food because you're following a recipe to make a cake?
Look, it's really rough. Like my daughter really wanted 3 eggs instead of 2 eggs in the cake, and it scarred her for life. And she said I was fat shaming her, and she never ate. No, of course it fucking doesn't. Like,
of course, she loves cake. You follow the recipe. Good work.
100%. There's just a recipe that we only follow once every couple of months, because if you follow that recipe every week, then you might have some issues. But like teaching kids about portion sizing and hunger, I think is a big thing.
It's good.
Think about every time you eat when you're not hungry, right? You go out there and you just start snacking on shit when you're not hungry. This is ultimately why people gain weight. They eat too much when they're not hungry enough. And that's it. That's as simple as it needs to be. And we need to take our cues from kids in that. They stop when they're full. But a lot of times, finish your dinner. You haven't had enough. You don't know if they've had enough or not, right? It's like if they're going, I had 1 bite of broccoli and now I want, 3 bits of chocolate. So, okay, cool. Well, if you're still hungry, you've got better options that'll keep you fuller for longer. And we educate them on why that is. If you have the chocolate as your dinner, you're going to be hungry again in an hour's time. It's going to be pointless and you're going to feel like shit. Let's have something that fills up our tummy first. And then if you're still hungry after that, who knows what we have. But teaching them to pay attention to their cues and teaching them to go, okay, cool. Like for you, all right, cool. I feel hungry. Now I'm going to eat. The amount of times I've gone out there and I'm like, I'm feeling a bit peckish, or I'm like, am I really, or am I just thirsty? And I've just been aware. It's like, am I just eating just because it's there, right? And just bringing that awareness to yourself, you then pass that on to your kids, right? So sometimes, and you can even be honest about it, but look, Dad needs to track his food for a bit because, my hunger signals are a bit out of whack because I've been eating a lot of crap lately. So I need to go, all right, well, what is the proper portion size for me? So my hunger starts to adjust. And then because your hunger does adjust based on the amount you're giving it. And sometimes you just need to bring awareness to it. Go, oh, holy crap. I didn't realize how much energy was in this food. I've not been moving that much today. I don't really think I need this high energy food. I'm not going to go out and run a marathon. My daughter will see me eating cereal and putting a little bit of honey on it or whatever. Why is that eating that? I'm about to go to the gym. I'm about to use this energy. That's why I'm doing that. If I'm about to sit on the couch, I'm not pouring honey on my cereal. Like, it's unnecessary. There's reasons why you can do what you do. But I think it's just, for me, a big thing is just being transparent with your kids and going, all right, we don't need to meticulously, anally restrict ourselves. We've got to go, all right, I'm choosing this. Why am I choosing this?
Yeah, I think you're not doing it forever. You do it for periods as well, and then you can go into periods of intuitive eating and all the rest of it. But it's like, oh, Dad, why are you weighing your food? It's like, well, Daddy trains a lot, and I'm able to make sure that I eat enough protein so I can support my muscles, and I want to train well. So that's why I'm doing it. Oh, should I weigh my food? Oh, you don't have to at the moment, but we definitely want to make sure you're having enough protein. And my kids know that they got to eat protein if they want to be strong. So like, oh, Dad, can I have some more eggs so I can have some protein? They get excited about it. So I was like, okay, for sure, man. Like, have some protein. Can I have a shake? Bulk Nutrients do a kids active protein powder that we put in their shakes so they have more protein, because kids should have protein. Like, they shouldn't be having just toast or cereal. Like, you want to make sure they're all chicken nuggets. There's protein chicken nuggets, but you want to try and make them yourself if you can. You don't want chicken feet in your nugget. But with this, guys, like, I think it's helping share positive messages. And there's not excuses. You're going to find excuses about tracking if you want to find excuses. Or you can find those exact same reasons of those excuses are the exact reason you want to be doing it. You can find excuses as far as why you shouldn't be training it, but those exact same excuses should be the reason why you should be doing it, because it's best to start when it's hard. You're going to find all the excuses, but in the excuse lies the reason that you should be starting now. And I think that's the biggest thing we wanted to get off this podcast today. It's like, stop everything, actually look at your excuses. And that excuse is the reason why you have to get your shit together and take this last 12% of the year and go strong and actually push forward for results. And, for me, that's it for today. Like, I hope we push that message. Jace, you got anything else you want to share?
No, I think that's a pretty good message, at least from our perspective. Let us know if we could have done anything different, or if there's anything else you want to know about for any of the upcoming episodes. But from our little echo chamber, sounds pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, that's another episode of the Fit Dad Club podcast. Don't forget to share, review, comment on YouTube, tell us anything you want, and give this to a fat dad so he can become a fit dad. Talk to you next week, guys.
Peace out.